till Tuesday, April 1. It's about 10 minutes after 1, and we'll call the meeting to order. And we do have a quorum here, and acknowledge any guests that may be here also. And item number 1 is consider and deliberate the action on the following items. Number 1 is discuss and appropriate approve request to hire Michael Grissom as reserve deputy for H.M. Wonders, Precinct Constable 4, which will be discussed and was tabled on March the 5th, 2021. And Mr. Wonders, you on that?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, you got anything to add to that?
No, sir, I thought I'd answered the liability question that was at hand on the original commissioner's report. If you guys had any other questions, I could answer them to the best of my ability. But no, sir, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. So you'll be hiring this person yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
And he'll be under your directions. And
yes, sir, he'll be under. Go ahead.
And you also brought us the paperback that John provided that the county would be not liable for?
Yes, sir. Texas Local Government Code 86.012 E. Edward. Like I said, when a reserve hires on, they're signing on with the full, absolute 100% knowledge, and I would make sure of that through a written statement that they would absolutely sign off on if they're not familiar with the laws and regulations. But they are signing on with full knowledge. They have no financial backing for the county. They're not authorized to benefit any compensation whatsoever, and that there's other certain they have to abide by or what they have to do to keep up with the mission.
Okay, you're going kind of in and out. We're not quite understanding everything you're saying. But Ms. Carter, do you have anything to add to that? So my question is, does he do anything without your direction?
Absolutely not.
So he'll be under your complete authority?
100%.
Okay. All right. Yeah, anybody got any question for him? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wonders.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I hear a motion to that effect, or?
I make a motion.
You say you made that motion?
Second. I second it then.
Motion been made by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Benson, that we approve the request to hire Michael Grissom as the reserve deputy for Mr. Wonders in Constable Precinct 4. Is there any more discussion? Not, all in favor? 4, and you object. 4-0. And 4-1. Okay, number 2 is discuss and appropriately approve the purchase and install the speakers for the jury box in district court. And Mr. Mike, would you present that to the court?
This is a speaker system that's in addition to the system that we have already here. This is just be for the jury box itself. Actually, they'll be placed inside the panels up here in the jury box, and there'll be a box, a wooden box that'll be made that they're going to try to match the color of this so it'll all blend in. And it would just be 2 speakers, and there'll be a system that runs the speakers will go under this last chair on the top row and tie in, but it'll all be controlled by this system over here. And the proposal is by MSC, who did the system that we've got now from Beaumont, and the total cost of it was $66.56.92.
And would you tell the court the reason why you're requesting those speakers?
Well, it's when we have old people like me on the juries, people can't hear. They have to see them. I sit up here and run the sound system during trials and stuff like that. And a lot of times you see people sitting there, they're leaning forward, turning their head, trying to hear, because the speakers that we had to put up here, sound goes up this way, and so you lose so much of it in the jury box. Now, MSP came up here, and Judge was up here when he came up here and put a system in just to test. And, we sat in the jury box, and it works real well. You can hear real well from the jury box.
Yes, it's very defined what the witness is saying, and, I have a problem here, and I told Miss Courtney when she's sitting back there, don't talk to me because I can't hear it. So, I can relate to what they're talking about, and also.
Excuse me, Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Especially if the defense counsel sits over here and the witness is sitting facing this way. People a lot like me, a lot of times I have to read lips along with listening to what people are saying. And if that witness is facing this direction, the jury a lot of times can't hear what they're saying. And there's a microphone on the jury box as well. I mean, on the witness box. So.
This was brought up, several months ago, and the COVID hit, and there hadn't been any activity, for his court. But now that we're fixing to open court back up, that's the reason you're requesting it at this time, so we get it installed for our next hearing.
Yes, sir. We were supposed to have a trial this week, but ended up, it got pled, so we didn't have it, so. But we got another one scheduled for, I think, June. Next trial is in June, so.
So are these speakers compatible to the system, with the system that's here already?
Yes, sir. They'll tie in, the, transmitter that fits over there will work, Wi-Fi over to this controller here. And I can control the whole system with my iPad. That's what I do. I sit out here and I'll turn the judge's mic, the witness mic, different mics on and off.
Right.
When we don't need them. And I can control that to the jury box if they need it turned up or whatever.
Is this the only quote you got?
Yes, sir. It's the only one we got. There's not a lot of people that does this kind of work. We had when we did this system here, we had a company out of Lufkin come down here and they were a lot more. I don't remember, Judge, do you remember? They were a lot more.
Yeah, it was almost twice as much.
And the fact that these people put this system in, they're familiar with all the electronics and everything on it, so that's the reason we had them come back and give us a proposal.
I guess both our questions were kind of, if we thought that was reasonable or not, you know.
Sure, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand your point. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds reasonable to me, but I'm not into that business.
You convinced this is gonna fix your problem?
Sir?
You convinced this is gonna fix the problem?
No question it's gonna fix the problem in the jury box. I mean, like I said, Judge sat in the jury box and I did too when we were doing it. And it made all the difference in it. I could turn it off and turn it on and it made all the difference in it.
We actually positioned in several different places and been sitting in several different places, and we've done a lot of testing, and we found out that we could angle them that way and cover the whole area. So is there something, somewhere we could actually take that money from? Is there, Sherry's not here. Okay. Is that, where could we get that money, Miss Sherry? I know that. Is it through courthouse security or anything, Liz?
Make sure to see how much is in there. And, it should be, I mean, it should be good. For that, but I think that we can use that.
Anybody got anything else for Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. Okay, I hear a motion or table, or what do y'all want to do?
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer and second by Mr. Thomas to approve the purchase and installation of the speakers for the jury box in the district courtroom. Any more discussion? Not all in favor? 5 votes. Number 3, discuss and appropriately approve the creation of the county impound program to impound vehicles that are found to be in violation of having insurance and no valid driving license. Sheriff Burby?
Good evening, Judge, Commissioner, and general public. At this point, I would like to discuss the creation of a impound program here in Newton County. And what this program consists of is the impounding of vehicles that we stop when drivers have no insurance on the vehicle and they have no valid driver's license. And this, right now, we're doing that, you know, and it goes through record. If we do this by creating a program, what we would do is we would get a contract with a towing service. I think Commissioner Columbus is familiar with that type program. But what happens, we contract with a record service for this particular service. And we say $200. And whatever the bid is accepted, we'll get the difference from what the towing service did to do this for us. And that will go to the county. Additionally, what happens is the vehicles that are impound, they incur a fee of $20 a day, okay? And at a particular time period, if they don't come and get their vehicle, we have to send notifications out. And each notification that we send out is going to be a $50 fee. And after the time limit that we set in our policy, then proper disposition comes on to play, whereas we just sell off the vehicles as appropriate. This program is also, we'll be able to, the vehicles that we seize, we'll be able to put them in that storage area that we create up at the prison. I think there's 2 locations we're looking at, but nothing has been determined at this point. And at this point, we're just bringing it to you for discussion, and we'll proceed and develop our policy with the help of the DA, as opposed to be consistent with the transportation code. This is a little or no startup cost for us. I hate to say nothing, everything costs money, we all know that. But it would be minimal for us to do that, and to just proceed forward on our getting a bid from a record service, where we can develop a policy, put the amount as set forward, consistent with the transportation code. I think it'll be a win-win for us to generate revenue in the end, but bottom line paramount is public safety. We don't want people driving cars with no insurance on the roadway, because that, in the long term, costs all of us money. Okay. And if you have any questions, this is the point where we're at. I just wanted to just bring it up. We can start our discussion.
You said everything costs money, which it does. Mm-hmm. Is this gonna cost the county any money, or we're gonna make money on it?
We'll make money. We have talked to Jasper PD, the city of Jasper, and they have made tens of thousands of dollars on this program.
Are we gonna be liable? We're gonna have insurance? We're gonna be liable for those vehicles that are in
anything that's in our custody, we are gonna be liable for.
And so if somebody breaks in and steals something off of it, or busts something out of it, we're liable.
Just like now.
Yeah, you got stuff storage across the road.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know,
Are we insured for that?
Yes.
We are?
yeah, anything that's in our custody, care, custody, and control of, we're liable. And we don't, that's why we don't take nothing, because we don't have to.
So, Sheriff, is their program is on first violation, they get no warning or anything?
We're not gonna, do that. We're just gonna go just like we are now. If you driving with no insurance, I can't let you get job off from me with no insurance or driver's license. Then I am not.
That was, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
So what are you doing right now?
We're impounding vehicles that has no insurance and license, and that goes to the record. And they charge fees for it.
So there's a
What's
record,
gonna change? Or what's the difference here? What kind of change are you asking for?
The change is, we're gonna continue to do this. The only difference that, long-term, the city would benefit is the fact that, what the record is doing, record service is doing, we'll have a program we'll be doing.
I think you're asking to have a documented program. I think, that sounds like what, is that what you're asking the court for,
Yeah.
documented?
Yeah, and this is
program?
a discussion point. I'm not asking you to approve anything, I'm just, you can table it and everything, and once we'll continue to move forward, develop a policy where you have specific, guidelines of what we do and when we do it, and how we do it.
Then we'll get $20 a day instead of the record.
Right.
so when you go out for bid for this towing service, we're gonna go for several different towing services, or we're gonna limit to one, or what? We'll limit to one once we get the bids in, right? Because that's where you're gonna make some of your money, right?
Yeah, because what they'll
What
tell us how much they would tow these vehicles for in this program.
And then, it's your responsibility to tell them where to go store the
Right. You tell them what it takes,
motorcycle.
just like we do now. They'll tell us where you want this vehicle taken to, when we are requesting them to pick it up.
So in turn, we pay the record service, and then when they come get it out of impound, then you collect that whole amount of money, right?
Now, we're split. The record service will tell us how much they'll charge the county to tow these vehicles under this program.
Yeah, but you're gonna pay the record service and the
Yeah.
civilian's gonna pay you.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what it is.
that was the question I'm
Yeah,
asking.
he's gonna pay the record, or pay you or whoever, then they're gonna pay him. It's a really good,
We do that now? We pay the record service?
no,
No?
no. When they stop you now, and he don't have a facility big enough to do this, so when he stops you now, then he tells you, record service asks you, well, Sheriff, what you wanna do with that car? He'll say, just take it to your compound, to your impound yard. He's collecting all the fees, but he's also liable for it. The record service is. What he's fixing to start doing now, or wants to do now, is he wants to stop that vehicle, call the record company that he has on contract. They're gonna say, I'm gonna come get it for $50. Sheriff's gonna say, you're gonna take it to mine. When he gets out there, then the sheriff's department's gonna take full responsibility of that vehicle. He's gonna take it to his compound yard. He's gonna pay that record service $50, and then when you get out of jail, you're gonna pay Courtney and you're gonna pay the sheriff. Whatever it's gonna be.
And get insurance,
And get insurance before he lets you have it.
or drive like.
Okay? Look, it's already all over the country. We're just behind time.
Yeah, I understand that,
Okay.
really. I just,
We cannot, you cannot, a local record service here in our county cannot survive off of him.
I don't,
Okay? The TDLR rules and regulations at this time is horrific. They're terrible. Okay? So it's time for him to pick up a little change. They used to do that years ago. The DPS used to do it. I never known for the county to do it, but the DPS did it when I was in service. They stopped it. So it just got overwhelming to them. Those 99% of the people they stopped didn't have insurance or a driver's license. And that question has been brought up many times in this county. What is the DPS doing letting a non-driver's license or a non-insurance car drive off from that location and drive 5 miles up the road and hit you head on?
What's the average a month that you get told?
You don't know that.
Yeah, it can, it peaks and valleys because of the, you know,
I can tell you when I was doing it, I was charging 125.
season and, you know, just like right now, when I first became sheriff, it was high. Now it's kind of low because we have their cars
Should have already been.
and they know about it. So, you know, it'd be peaks and valleys.
That's how ignorant I am of it.
But it's an overall benefit for us to have a contract with our,
And the only thing that I see
record
different
service.
personally,
we do a lot of
we need to own it.
pulling cars
Right.
The
for every
county,
purchase.
Will there be increase on our insurance?
that truck, and he needs to tow his own vehicles, and he needs.
I don't think that's, we'll check into it.
I mean, I'm just saying for our liability, would that go up?
I don't know.
Were you
I don't
talking
know
about
about it, no.
each city?
I'm just saying, should.
How about our insurance that we paying, would that go up, would the rate go up?
I'm unaware of that, but I'll check into it. And we're still in the
If
development.
you own the vehicle, would you pay
I'm just letting you guys know.
a percentage of the?
No,
Everything, and once we get the policies developed,
Yeah.
it'll be up to you to approve it, Jay, and make whatever recommendations you want.
So our next step is to develop a policy. I think you've heard some questions of the court that you can take and develop this policy, as what they've asked.
Right. As well as, you know, setting up the bids, for the record.
Yeah.
the only thing that I can see, in my opinion, is you need to own the truck. Because I'm telling you, when there was a dual record service here in this town, it was me and Mr. Kelly. When I was on call, they had me to a 15 minutes. If you didn't get there in 15 minutes, they called someone else. It was not being treated fair that he could drag his feet, and sometimes I've seen him wait on the road out there for 45 minutes.
According to where you're at.
That's not what you want to get into.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I think personally, if you're gonna do the program, it is a program that will work for our county. It's gonna make some people mad, but you need to own the truck. You need to be that guy that's doing it all. To where you can't scream and holler about the tow truck's taking longer to get there than what it's supposed to. It'll be one of your employees doing it, it'll be all on you, and there you go. Nobody to point the finger at. That's my opinion.
Well, okay.
Well, I've been there, I've done it. I've ride 25 years. I've seen the good and seen the bad. You're not gonna chase wrecks, you're not gonna do wrecks, you're only gonna do seizures or violations.
Yeah, violations, and it's, to me, at this point, you know, it's a win-win for us, you know, because we're doing it anyway, and getting nothing out of it.
That's right, you're nothing, man. And you're doing all the headache.
So you recommend to the court that, after you develop this policy, you bring it back and we'll discuss it again, is that right? Or is the court involved with it, or you and Ms. Courtney and whoever
Yeah,
else?
at this point, it's just, at my level, and confirm with the DA for, legal, points, everything according to transportation code. But again, and, you know, we get a little leeway because we are a government entity as opposed to just a private commercial record service. There's certain, requirements that we don't have to comply with.
Okay, y'all have any more questions?
I'm good.
All right, we'll leave it at that, as a discussion, and, look forward to the next,
Yeah, when we get ready.
from you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You might as well just keep staying there because, we're discussing appropriate approve, cremation and the implementation of the memorandum of understanding between Jasper and Newton, Sheriff Department to combat and deter the transportation and the distribution of narcotics and other related crimes.
Yes, thank you. Again, this is a MOU. This is a second one that, I brought forward, between us and another entity, this and Jasper County Sheriff's Office.
And let's just, while you're discussing it, we'll just lump, 4 and 5 together unless you see otherwise it need to be split.
I don't see any
Okay.
reason why it should be split. Okay, this is between the Jasper County Sheriff's Office and Newton County Sheriff's Office, as well as Sabine County and, Newton County. This MOU, which is, an agreement that we work together in so far as, doing our job in combating and, deterring transportation of and distribution of narcotics and other related crimes, as, we're confronted with. It gives, the understanding that we work with Newton, Jasper in their area, in their, jurisdiction, and Sabine County, and vice versa. We have been doing that anyway. And this is, codified, on paper, that we have those agreements.
Like
one of
when
the
they
things-
had with Orange, right?
one of the things that in law enforcement arena, that we deal with the same crooks, they just move around. And, it's a running, hide and seek kind of game, and, collectively, we work together, daily, to combat, criminals and, crimes committed in our area.
Okay. Any questions?
That would be, right now, that would make, if approved, that'll make us have, MOUs with all the surrounding counties, in Texas. And, I'm working on, Gilroy Parish and Vernon.
Okay. Your motion?
I make the motion, we approve that, creation of the implementation of memorandum of understanding between Jasper County and Newton County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you very much.
Second.
And also Sabine County and Newton County, unless you want it split.
Okay, yeah, that's, number 5. Yeah, also Sabine County and Newton County,
Okay.
same type of memorandum.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. White and second by Mr. Bombi that we, approve the creation of, implementation of the memorandum of understanding between Jasper County and Newton, County Sheriff's Office and Sabine County and Newton County Sheriff's Office, to combat and deter the transportation or distribution of narcotics and other crimes. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. It was on item 4 and 5. Okay. Number 6 is discussing appropriate approve and accept the donation of, $70,000 from the Sabine River Authority to Newton County for the economical development. This is, was provided by Sabine River Authority, to help us out on our economical development, and, so I would like for y'all to approve that donation.
Make the motion to accept it. Donation $70,000, anything.
I second.
Motion been made by Mr. White and, second by Mr. Benson, that we accept the donation of $70,000 from SRA for economical development. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Number 7 is discussion if appropriate to extend the homeowner's application submittal deadline for GLO contract 20-066-15-C180 local buyout project. Mr. Mark Taylor.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, this is the,
You got, Mark, you got to get closer to the mic or something.
I apologize. How about that?
Okay. That's better.
Okay. Let's back up and take another run at that. This is for the Harvey buyout program. Now, we are also administering the 2016 buyout program, which the application deadline closed for that quite some time ago. We are still processing those applications. The Harvey buyout program, the application deadline on that was April the 21st. As of April the 21st, we received 15 applications for the buyout program. What we're requesting to do is to open the application cycle back up, extend this program through June the 30th, and go back and do some additional marketing of this program, go out and physically knock on all the doors that we can, and shake the bushes, if you will, to make sure that everyone out there is aware of this program that may have an interest in it. This is the program where we have a little over $8 million to utilize in the buyout program. So at this point in time, we've got a lot more money than we do takers on it.
What happens to that money if we don't spend it?
The question was, what happens to the money if we don't spend it, Mark?
The money will go back to DebtCog to be reallocated within the region if anyone else has a need for our buyout program. This money is flagged as housing money, so it cannot be moved over to infrastructure. And the method of distribution was established in this case. The money was flagged as housing money by the GLO. Once it came to DebtCog, then the money was allocated to Newton County. So if it's not utilized, then it will go back up to DebtCog for reallocation. If they can't use it for housing, then it goes back to GLO to reallocate for housing money.
Okay, then does it go dispersed through the state, or does it go back to HUD?
If DebtCog cannot utilize it?
Yes, you say it goes back to GLO for distribution.
Yes, sir. It would go back to GLO for redistribution, but it would remain its housing identity.
So it possibly could wind up in Harris County.
Yes, sir. It could go to some other COG for housing money.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You asking for it to be opened up to June the 30th for applications?
Yes, sir.
He's saying right now he's got 15 applicants.
Yeah.
And they won't near use that $8 million.
You don't think there was enough advertising out there you think we can get some more applicants?
Commissioner, I know there's been, as always, once the deadline comes up, there has been additional people reach out and say they didn't realize it was that soon. They didn't realize that was the deadline. They do have applications. So without a doubt, yes, sir, there's definitely additional applicants out there. How many, I cannot say. Now, this program, it's been advertised in the paper. It's been placed on y'all's billboard. We have placed up flyers, but what we would like to do next is get some folks to physically go out and knock on doors, speak to folks if they're at home. If not, leave some flyers explaining to them about the program. And we want to make sure we have fully saturated the area that's eligible for buyout before we walk away from any of this money.
I think that's a good idea.
So who is eligible?
Judge, this money, once again, as prior money, 70% of it is earmarked for low mod. So the biggest portion of the money will go to low mod homeowners. As far as eligibility, it's individuals in the floodplain or floodway that were affected by Hurricane Harvey.
What if I wasn't in neither of those and my house got damaged?
At this point in time, it would not be eligible for the program.
Okay.
Now, if the court so chooses, we can go back and look at expanding the area beyond the existing floodplains, if you would like, and see if we can get approval to go out above and beyond the floodplain areas that have been established by FEMA.
So this is only a buyout program and not a reconstruct or anything?
Yes, sir, that's correct. This is buyout only.
Okay. In buying those people out, is there any money out there to help them relocate?
Yes, sir. It depends upon the individual and their specific circumstance. All individuals that apply for the program will not be eligible if their home is purchased at the fair market value prior to the disaster, and that is full compensation for that home, then they would not be eligible for further assistance. If the home is purchased and that money would not buy an equivalent structure at this point in time, then they could be eligible for additional assistance with the purchase of another home.
Even though it would be outside the county?
Yes, sir, it could extend outside the county as well. But basically what it amounts to, in purchasing that home, they have to be left in a deficit situation where they're not at least as well off as they would have been had the house been purchased at the time of the disaster.
What if they didn't have no other place, didn't have no money to reconstruct? They still living in a damaged house. Is there any compensation for living there, or if they had ailments for mold, lung damage, and that kind of stuff?
No, sir, there is not.
Okay. All right. Y'all got any questions? Okay, hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmy and second by Mr. Thompson that we extend the homeowner's application middle deadline for GLO contract 20-066-015-C18 local buyout project till June the 30th, 2021. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Number 8, discuss and appropriate amend the agreement executed between Newton County and Traylor and Associates for administrative and professional service for HMGP DR 4332. Mr. Mark?
Judge, this is the 2018 HMGP grant projects. These are the projects we are currently administering. At the time our agreement was executed with the county, this was several months prior to the actual application submittal for these projects. At that point in time, a dollar figure had to be placed into the agreement between our firm and Newton County. What we're proposing this time with this amendment is to put the actual dollar amount in here that's allocated for each of these projects, rather than a best guess that was done prior to these projects being determined. This amount is considerably lower than what is currently in the agreement. But once again, the agreement at the time was based on a best guess, whereas now we've got the actual dollar figures to place within this agreement.
Who is requiring this or requesting this? The GLO?
Who is requiring it? No, sir. GLO has nothing to do with this particular grant program. This is through TDM. This is HMGP project. And now the contract does state a maximum amount in the contract. But in discussing it with Ms. Holloway, we both agreed that for clarification purposes, it would be better to have the actual dollar amount stipulated in the agreement that's actually available, rather than a not to exceed dollar amount that's several $1,000s higher than the dollars that would be compensated.
All right. Any questions? Hear a motion?
Make the motion, we amend the agreement between Newton County and Traylor Association.
Hear a second?
I second.
Motion is made by Mr. White and second by Mr. Benson that we amend the agreement executed between Newton County and Traylor Associates for a professional service for MGP DR 4332. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir. Number 9 is, discussion of appropriate authorized advertising for request for proposal for application development, project manager, general, grant administrator for DebCog CDBG, medication money, bid money. Ms. Liz?
Okay, this is, money that's coming down from GLO, and we've talked about it a little, well, Judge and I have talked about it a little bit, I don't, y'all probably have heard about it. It's coming down from GLO, it is for Harvey. And DebCog is coming to DebCog, and they're gonna be the ones that are gonna be doing the method of distribution on it, which they have not, I was talking to somebody this morning, and they don't even have the rules down yet on the method of distribution. But we're expecting everything to start rolling just, they said later on in the spring. So I'm thinking, last I heard 6-8 weeks, hopefully, but we don't know. So we wanted to go ahead and get this done so that when it did happen, we could hit the ground running. So as soon as we know some rules and regulations, and then we'll be able to move forward. So this is for, grant administration, part of it.
Yeah, this, what actually gonna happen is DebCog gonna set up their, method of distribution, and they have to be sent back up to GLO for their approval. And if they decided that they wanted different guidelines or add to, subtract from, then it comes back, and it's gonna be back and forth, and be probably in the fall before it actually.
Yeah, it'll be before anything really happens. We, kind of keeping our eyes open for when all that starts, because we really want to watch that method of distribution closely, especially when it comes down to, public comment and that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah, and Newton County, is definitely, needs some input on that. I've expressed my opinion already in the COG, and, they're probably not happy with me, but, I'm gonna fight for everything for Newton County. But right now, we need to send out that RFQ.
Yes.
And, get that already established, so we'll be ready when we do, get this approved.
And with the GLO, they like you to, be out about, about 6 weeks, this process, not 2 weeks like we do some of them. They want you out there about 6 weeks to give everybody a chance, because there's a lot of stuff that goes with these kind of RFPs.
Do you have any idea what the dollar figure is?
We know that the COG is gonna get, about 69 million? Is that
Yeah.
right? That's what I made some notes.
Almost said,
Almost 70 million, the COG is gonna get.
Okay, you know if it's gonna be a match?
We don't know any of that yet.
So we'll end up with about 7 or 8?
We don't know.
Well, I mean, 12 counties.
no, it'll be 7 counties.
7?
And, look, don't hold me to this, but I'm fighting for 11 million.
Okay.
And I'll express my opinion about it. There's been some opposition, but there's gonna be some ongoing discussion.
So we're trying to stay on top of it and with this ahead of it.
So we actually have to go out for the same rules. We gotta do it although we're doing it ourselves, we still have to play by going out and doing this also, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Even though the COG is distributing it and we'll get X amount of dollars, we still have to go through this process.
Okay.
And it's GLO rules.
Okay.
So, yeah. Kind of used to them by now. Till they change it next week.
And I guess there's admin money in there also, right?
Yes. There's admin and engineering money in there.
Yeah.
I'll make it motion.
That's second.
Motion been made by Mr. Formby and second by Mr. Thompson that we authorize the advertise, for request for proposal, application development, and project management and grant administration, through the DebCog, mid fund. Any discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Number 10, discuss and appropriate authorize advertise the request for qualification for engineering services, for the CDBG, mid-fund also.
Yeah, same thing. It's just for the engineering services, because at this point, we don't even know what, you know, what we're gonna be able to do. So we want to go into state going to.
Make a motion.
Second. Maybe that's possible. Motion been made by Mr. White and second by Mr. Motion been made by Mr. White and second by Mr. Palmy, that we advertise a request for qualification for engineering services for the, mid-fund also. Any more discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Thank you, Liz.
One more.
Thank you for that.
Discuss and appropriately authorize bid selection committee to submit recommendation for the selection of contractor for debris, disaster debris monitoring and consulting services.
Okay, this is, as y'all know, this is the other part of our debris, you know, we got the debris contract with DRC. These are the guys that have to monitor what they do. And there's a whole lot of stuff that they do, but that's, in a nutshell, that's what they do. We received 2 submittals. One was Thompson Consulting, who we have now, and then Witt O'Brien's was the other one, that submitted. Judge Owen and I we reviewed these very carefully last week, asked some questions, discussed, and they scored very closely. I mean, they scored just pretty much alike until we got down to the pricing. And the pricing was even real close. It's just that Witt O'Brien's detailed theirs better. They didn't leave a lot of ifs in there. Thompson, and I looked back, and they did theirs about the same way last time, but they didn't detail some of these people that they use out there in the field and in the office. So anyway, with all of that being said, we recommend that Witt O'Brien have the contract for debris monitoring. And this contract is for, you can renew it 2 times, 1 year, and that's what I was in my head, was telling me over there. In other words, we can have them for 3 years. So we have them for a year at a time. We can renew twice.
But as right now, we don't have a
We
debris
have
monitor.
nobody right now.
That, contract is run out, so.
Because I put the wrong date on my reminder.
Here, motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmy and second by Mr. White that, we're gonna go on the recommendation of the bid selection, Witt O'Brien, being our, disaster debris monitor and consulting service. Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Here, motion to adjourn. Motion been made by Mr. White. Second, Mr.
Get their turn.
Adjourn. 58. Thank y'all.